Thank you for joining us, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Men of Zen, an animation research podcast. My name is Brent.
And I'm Philip J. Fry, coming at you live from the future.
Oh, did I say Brent? I meant Bending Rodriguez.
Hey, there you go. You remembered.
Shit. I did remember, dude. I fucking love this show. Do you know what we're talking about? Of course you know what we're talking about. We're talking about goddamn Futurama.
Futurama, coming at you live from Omicron, Persei 8.
Fucking, I love those aliens, dude. Every character in this show is so fucking memorable. The show is a stroke of genius created by the one and only Matt Groening, who is also the creator of The Simpsons.
Whoa.
If you've never seen that, which is a cultural phenomenon that has lasted longer than basically every other show in history.
Unfortunately.
Okay, I loved The Simpsons. I loved The Simpsons. That's not to say that I would choose, one over the other, but Futurama is just so different in the way that it can portray the really dark corners of the earth and take it to an extreme and be like, but what would it be like in the future? But also, let's make it funny.
Right.
But, one of the first things that immediately comes to mind about Futurama for me is the kill booths or the suicide booths.
Oh my god, yep.
I don't know if that would really, fly in today's culture if he made an episode about, that again.
Let's be real here. Those are completely unrealistic. There's no way they would only cost 25 cents.
that price would be so fucking inflated. It'd be insane.
Yeah. Let's be real here.
It would at least be $500 to kill yourself in a booth.
More like 1,000.
There's no fucking way. I love everything about this show. It's so wonderful, and it's got some amazing heartfelt moments or moments that are incredibly sad.
This show made me tear up and want to cry so many different times.
Oh, I know. What's the one that comes to mind?
Seymour.
Okay.
Seymour the dog.
The dog. Yep. 100%. Mm-hmm. That's the one. The dog that waited. He was the goodest boy.
Oh God, we don't want to spoil that. You just need to watch the show.
Yeah, you should. 100%. I'm not gonna say what, but man, it's always Seymour. It's fucking amazing episode. Futurama is this iconic animated television series that is known for clever wit, inventive storytelling, and a unique blend of science fiction and comedy, created by, again, the one and only Matt Groening, the mastermind behind The Simpsons, which Futurama made its debut on March 28th, 1999, right before the year 2000, which was obviously aligned on that on purpose, because this series takes place in the year 3000, in which our main character, Philip J. Fry, or they just call him Fry. Yeah, hey, what's up, man? In which case you get encased in a a sleep chamber,
in a freezy tube,
like in a cryogenic freezer pop tube.
Yeah, that one.
And you wake up in the year 3000 after you...
A million years. Like, one of the very first things he says, you've been asleep since the year 2000. He's like, my God, a million years.
Oh my God. I didn't...
See, as a kid, I didn't know that. As a kid, I'm like, oh, they made a mistake. And as an adult, I'm like, no, he's just stupid.
I don't remember that. So on my journey through rewatching this, I tried watching the stuff that I hadn't seen before.
Yes, I forgot that the series went up to 11 seasons, 13 seasons at this point.
It's huge.
Yeah.
There's so much. The seasons are pretty short. They're not
not too long.
Yeah, they're not there's not a ton of episodes each season, so it's pretty manageable. But yeah, from that first episode, how Fry gets frozen and then wakes up in the year 3000, and the thing I remember from that is Oh no, you're right. I do remember him saying, "Wow, a million years." Now that I'm trying to think about that episode, no, yeah, I do remember that. But that science guy, he comes over and is like, "Welcome to the world of tomorrow." Like it's so,
Hi.
yeah, like it's this crazy, amazing, like wondrous place where all of your problems are solved and society is evolved to a point where everyone like is in perfect harmony, only to find out it's still just a giant shit show. It's the same thing he remembers from the year 2000, just more advanced.
Because in the future, they have what's called career chips, where they scan you and they can tell what your best, what's your best profession? Like, what are you best at?
Yeah.
And so Fry was a pizza delivery boy. And then he finds out that he's supposed to be another delivery boy all over again. So he runs away from the head of the cryogenics lab, who is Taronga Leela, another one of the main characters, only to then run into his alcoholic sidekick for the rest of the series, Bender Bending Rodriguez, a robot from the future that's sole purpose is bending things.
I am Bender. Please insert girder.
Oh man, great episode. But Bender's a foul-mouthed alcoholic. In the future, robots actually have to drink alcohol. It helps them survive. So they actually will go through the exact opposite. When a person drinks too much and they get absolutely crazy. That's what happens to robots if they don't drink.
If they don't drink, they become crazy.
Yeah, it's real funny because they're like, oh my God, he's sober. Quick, get him some alcohol. And oh my God. And so basically, the two of them outrun Leela, and eventually they decide, you know what? Screw being told what to do. And then they go off to meet his long-lost relative. And who's like his great, like 40-something greats nephew.
Yep.
Professor Hugo Farnsworth, who's like 150, because you can live really long in the future.
Whoa! I can't do his
voice.
Good
news, everyone.
Good news, everyone.
That's his favorite saying right before he says some bad news. But anyway, he offers them to be his new crew on his delivery company called Planet Express. And Fry gets to be a delivery boy. But he's excited because he gets to be a delivery boy in space.
On a spaceship.
Yeah, so he's all excited for this, even though like everyone else has been through space already. They don't really care. This is just typical stuff for them. But this is all from the eyes of someone who's never got to be that and who's loved space. So that's how the first episode starts, and it just goes from there. Some of the wonkiest adventures, some heartfelt moments, some great memorable characters. It's just
like Flexo.
Oh my God, Flexo. The planet of the Amazonians.
Oh hell yeah.
Like,
snoo.
I know how I want to die now.
Death by snoo.
Oh my God, we have Captain Zap Brannigan.
Hell yeah. Dude, he's so fucking funny. I love him so much.
We have Lur of the planet Omicron Persei 8. We have the trucker who seems to be in like every location ever. And he who has a lisp like what's you want, Zaza?
Hermes Conrad.
Oh, Hermes Conrad, a main character.
Like
Conrad.
Jamaican, yeah, he's like a Jamaican accountant.
Yeah, he's the Jamaican accountant for the business.
Yep.
Amy Wong, who is the young, spunky grad student of Professor Hugo Farnsworth. And then one of my favorite characters, Dr. Zoidberg.
Why not Zoidberg?
A human-shaped, human-sized crustacean alien who is the running joke of for most of the show. He's completely shat on as a character. He eats out of the trash. He's an awful doctor. He doesn't understand human anatomy whatsoever.
Nope.
But like he's one of the professor's oldest friends, even though he gets fired every other episode, it feels like, and then just seemingly comes back.
He just comes back. Yeah.
Oh man. There's just and who could forget Scruffy, the janitor?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I could. Or Clamps.
Clamps.
Or fucking what was the
Crushinator.
Get him, Crushinator.
Oh my God.
Oh my fucking God.
Oh my God, who else? Calculon. Then we have
he's like a soap opera star of their time. Like if fucking The Days of Our Lives was played by robots.
Yep. And then we have Elzar, a universal famous chef. kind of like Gordon Ramsay a little bit, but his catch saying is bam,
bam. Put some pepper on there, and bam.
Or he'll like see someone get super depressing news, and he'll be like, bam. But as you can tell, there's so many memorable, amazing characters in the show. It's like if The Simpsons was good and funny.
Shut up.
I love how
The Simpsons is good and funny.
See, I personally couldn't get into The Simpsons, and I don't know what it is. I've watched so much of it, and yeah, there's some heartfelt stuff in there, but like Futurama gripped me. And I don't know, maybe I got to watch it at the very beginning and it just resonated more with me at the time than The Simpsons ever did.
Yeah, see, The Simpsons had to evolve, I think, to get to a sweet spot in the late 90s, early 2000s, where it was a show that, at least for me, it was something that my mom was like, I don't want you watching that show. It's not good for kids. Now, she wasn't like strict on that rule. I would watch it a bunch, but it was something for me that I'm like, ooh, I'm not supposed to watch it. This has like stuff in it that she doesn't want me to know, or like I'm like bad. I'm the edgy kid if I watch The Simpsons. And the more I watched it, the more I loved everything about the show. And it was like the cultural animated show for its time,
right?
I feel like,
yeah.
But it was something that you could also relate to.
Yeah.
But The Simpsons would just take whatever it was to an extreme, and there was always something that I could reference every day from The Simpsons. You couldn't escape it. Simpsons did it, 100%. The Simpsons did it.
Except be funny.
Yeah, well, shut up. The Treehouse of Horror episodes, genius. I love those.
More like the What If episodes from Futurama.
Right? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just being a rascal. I know Simpsons is culturally, amazing, and it is a funny show. Just if I had to choose, Futurama is my go-to.
I feel like more recently, The Simpsons has gotten more on the pulse of what's happening in society, like immediately, but I do think that it has lost a lot of its shine. I feel like it doesn't quite hit the spot anymore.
Yep.
And they've been around for so long, they've lived full lives. And I'm like, what else is there for them to possibly do that isn't just
grow
a repeat?
Up?
Yeah.
Like, please make the characters actually grow up.
They have. They've done that. And Lisa becomes like a successful businesswoman.
Yeah, but like just actually,
Bart becomes a loser drunk like his dad.
What I don't understand is why cartoon shows don't let their characters grow up. Yeah, true, because then the advertising, the marketing gets all changed. But like,
do you want Rugrats? Because that's how you get Rugrats.
Hey, you know what? I enjoyed their teenage years. Let's be real here.
Really, the Rugrats all grown up? You like that? Oh,
I enjoyed it for the time.
I thought that was hot garbage. It's like, that's stupid, because all their adventures change, their character dynamics change.
Yeah, because they grew up.
Yeah, but that's not what I want. I want more Bart being a little dickhead. I want more Lisa being this.
How many times can he repeat the same grade? How many winters, how many Christmas episodes can there be?
As many as
before they're like, hey man, it's been like 19, 30 years of Christmas. Like, why am I not older?
Anywhere from 19 to 30. I don't know. It don't matter. Why does that? None of this
hell,
matters.
man.
The genesis of Futurama can be traced back to when Matt Groening and his desire to create a new animated series after the massive success of The Simpsons, teaming up with writer and producer David Cohen. Groening envisioned a show that would delve into the realm of science fiction while maintaining the sharp humor that had become synonymous with his name, and thus Futurama was born. Using their extra special powers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
Hey, that's another episode.
Oh, yeah, right.
Put that back in the bank.
Yeah, we'll put that back in there. Just put that in my pocket here.
And that's one of the things, like, Futurama is incredibly smart. Like, not only do we have a lot of amazing writers in the show, they actually have a large variety of employees that are graduates of they're Ivy League graduates.
Oh yeah, they're legitimate like scientists and mathematicians.
Yeah, because they wanted to make sure if they did this show, they wanted to do it right, and they wanted to have a real scientific edge behind it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, there is an episode called The Prisoner of Brenda from season 6. It involved a brain-switching machine that could swap the minds of any two people that stepped into it. The catch, though, is it had a big problem. Once used, the machine couldn't be used twice to swap the same two minds back to normal. So this means that numerous pairs of other characters would have to be use the machine in a roundabout plan to restore everyone's mind to their proper body.
That's right.
They actually had to create a real equation. They actually created a brand new equation, mathematical problem in order to solve this. Like, that is intense thinking, and that's so creative. And that just makes me really appreciate the show even more.
Right. And if there's one thing that we've learned from Matt Groening and or James L. Brooks, for that matter, is that he can predict the future. So if he's already talking about like the far future, how much of this, like realistically, how much of this do you really think is gonna happen? Like some of it, no.
See, yeah, like
or at least not as comically.
The Simpsons has been way too accurate for me to believe that they're not from the future, or they can at least see the future. Which I imagine I would hope they would want to use that power for good one day.
I almost think that's one of the spawning reasons for this show, is that like they caught wind of the fact that they're like, holy shit, we can predict the future sort of thing. And they're like, what would the future be like? And then they really try to like describe the future. Like, are we all just living in Matt Groening's mind? Is that what our world really is? The world that we can perceive is just his ideas?
Oh my God. I don't know if I want to live in a world like that.
It's wonderful. I love this show so much. Let's talk a little bit more about this show, shall we?
Absolutely. The show centers around Philip J. Fry, a slacker and a pizza delivery boy from the year 1999, who accidentally gets cryogenically frozen and wakes up 1,000 years later into the distant future. In this distant future, Fry finds himself working at Planet Express, an intergalactic, I cannot talk tonight, sorry guys, delivery company owned by the eccentric Professor Hugo Farnsworth. Alongside Fry are a diverse group of characters that we did mention earlier. The one-eyed Leela, the foul-mouthed robot Bender, the Jamaican bureaucrat Hermes Conrad, the naive intern Amy, and the crustacean physician Dr. John Zoidberg.
Now, something we didn't really talk about too much was Fry's deep love interest for Leela.
Yes.
And that like, is huge throughout the entire series, including more recent episodes. Like Fry never gives up.
No.
Ever.
And like their relationship kind of like goes up and down, and they get together, they break up, they get together. It's kind of this, almost a running joke in itself is their relationship, but some of the stuff they do to kind of push their relationship is so heartwarming and so cute. It makes you believe that true love exists.
Right.
You know? Absolutely. Futurama's premiere on Fox was met with critical acclaim, praising its intelligent humor, imaginative settings, and a sharp social commentary. However, it struggled with inconsistent scheduling, which affected its ability to build a stable audience. Despite these challenges, the show developed a devoted fan base that appreciated its intellectual and offbeat humor. Absolutely. If you are a fan of Futurama, you are a fan of Futurama. Like no way any show could die and come back as often as Futurama has.
You're
without
a lifer.
the setting.
You're a lifer.
I will live and die Futurama, baby. The show's creativity extended beyond the writing, with its animation style showcasing intricate and detailed backgrounds, bringing the futuristic of world of New York to life. And the combination of traditional hand-drawn animation and computer-generated imagery added depth and complexity to the series. The show always feels like something's moving, you know? Like either if it's something in the background, or even like just in front of the characters, I feel like the world is so well done. It actually feels like a very much lived in world.
Right, yeah, compared to The Simpsons, which is is a lot more stationary. There's not as much, at least in earlier episodes. I don't know about more some of the more recent seasons. I feel like they've upped their game quite a bit so that it feels more alive,
right?
Like they've done in Futurama. But yeah, like it's constantly huge city. There's always other people or other things happening. It's amazing.
Unfortunately, despite the dedicated fan following, Fox canceled Futurama after its 4th season in 2003. Ooh.
Wow! After its 4th season, I don't remember that.
The news was met with disappointment from fans and creators alike, the show had struggled to find a consistent time slot and faced competition from other popular shows.
What competition?
Yeah, I was going to say, what shows where they're like, you know what, this needs more attention than Futurama? I say, fuck that.
Right, yeah, no way. Like, Futurama
Shame on
been
those people.
knocking them shits out left and right. However, I mean, I guess with Futurama's cancellation, it wasn't the end of the story, as we now know, because there's many, many seasons. In the years that followed, the show's gained a new lease on life through syndication and DVD sales, which DVD was, like, on the rise at that time. It was, like, a super new, not necessarily super new, but in the...
11 seasons.
Yeah, in the late 90s, like, DVDs were just now becoming, like, I would say pretty typical consumer products. Like, there was still a lot of people still on VHS at that point. I believe me included. It took forever for for us to start getting DVDs.
Same, but that was actually a really funny fact. My parents, every time a new season of Futurama would come out on DVD, they got it for me.
Hell yeah.
As a gift. Like, I absolutely loved the artwork on the boxes too. It had basically every season. You could look at the artwork on every single DVD, and it would just be you could see the stories that you were going to see. It had little images and items from all the different episodes on it, so you could look at that and be like, "Wow, this is what the season encompassed as a whole. All these little things, all these amazing stories."
That's cool.
I really like the artwork on that.
That's amazing. They don't do that enough anymore.
No, they don't.
Like, we don't get cool shit like that as much anymore with physical sales. It's more just like, here's the thing. You're like, all right, it's a box.
I hate it.
Yeah. Its popularity only grew during that period with DVD sales, and its fans continued to clamor for more adventures in the 31st century. It was in 2007, 4 years after its cancellation, that Futurama returned with 4 feature-length direct-to-DVD films: Bender's Big Score, The Beast with a Billion Backs, Bender's Game, and Into the Wild Green Yonder.
These were all great.
I remember these when they came out, because, like, it was a big deal, and you're like, oh man, there's these Futurama, like, if you want more Futurama, this is the only way to get it, is by getting these DVDs. It was fucking awesome. The success of these films then paved the way for Comedy Central to revive the series as a television show in 2010. So from 2003 to 2010, we only had 4 DVD straight to from film to DVD movies. And that was it. That was all we had for 7 years. The Comedy Central revival brought new life to Futurama, allowing it to explore more complex storylines and character development, which is absolutely noticeable. The show continued to deliver its trademark humor while tackling relevant social and philosophical themes, solidifying its position as a beloved cult classic.
Now, fun fact, the season 5 encompasses all 4 of those movies that they then cut up and created episodes.
Yes.
It wasn't until season 6 where they actually Comedy Central's real season started airing. And yeah, those movies, oh my god, those movies felt like they had grown up with us. Like, the comedy was more on point, the humor was more on point, and the show got a little raunchier almost, and it just got even more out there. But, like, I loved all of it. All of these movies were great, and I'm so glad that Futurama continued. And now, of course, the show has continued on much farther past that. Like I said, there is currently 11 seasons of the show. So we went from 4 seasons to 11 seasons, and there were quite a few cancellations in between of that.
There was.
What I love about the show is that every time the series would come to an end, they always wrapped it up in a way that I'd almost be okay with it if that was the real ending.
I almost wonder if they were, like, not that
they weren't planning on it coming back.
Right, yeah, like, they just kept having to end it, like, okay, is this it? And then they'd end it, and the next time, like, oh, we're still here? All right, well, is this it?
They actually, I think the first time it got canceled, and I think this is in one of the first movies, I think the first movie that came out after season 4, where basically they even made a joke about it, how, like, oh, well, you know what? There's some idiot at the Box Network it was Professor Farnsworth saying, good news, everyone, we're not canceled anymore.
Yeah.
Some idiot at the Box Network made a huge mistake and he was fired and ridiculed. And they're like, yeah, that idiot. And then at the end of the movies, they once again kind of acted like this was it. They're not going to make any more. So they made a very satisfying, really like open-ended ending. But like you can imagine the stories would have continued.
Yeah.
But then season 6 starts and they're like, I guess we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then when they came back, they added some new cast members like Hermes, Hermes' kid, as well as who's the
Professor Farnsworth's clone.
Yeah. Okay.
Hubert.
Yeah. Yep. I was like, God, who was he? Yes.
Hubert, who's essentially his son.
Which was kind of, I don't know, it was a really weird dynamic for a while there, because I remember when that came back, I was like, the fuck are these guys?
They added a lot more characters, more reoccurring characters. They got more screen time, like the kids, Scruffy, the janitor, who would show up in random places, not doing his job, Hermes' wife, Kiff, and became more of an active character because he was dating Amy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
It was.
I fucking love the episode when he goes to like give birth.
Oh my god. Oh no, we don't talk about that. Ooh, Nibbler, the little monkey, 3-eyed monkey beast thing that like eats everything.
Yeah, he just consumes and then poops out
dark matter. And like it weighs so much.
That's what they use to fuel the ship with.
Yep.
He's like Nibbler's like actually some super smart scientist.
Yeah, he's actually a part of a species that apparently was there 17 years before the Big Bang.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but
he goes from fucking Donnie of the Thornberries. Basically, he's like Donnie, but then he turns into this like super crazy smart guy who knows all calculations of the world and talks like with a really like sophisticated voice, and you're like, whoa, wait, hold on.
Basically, he pretended to be stupid because I won't go into too much detail, but basically he's part of a very, like I said, a very advanced species that's been around since longer than the Big Bang, which makes no sense. But he has a plan. He and his species have actually been background characters in this universe for a long time, making sure certain events happened.
Right. Yes, I remember now.
There's a lot of time travel in the show, by the way. And it's very well done time traveling, which plays into a lot of older like tropes in the show, like older things that happen in the show. Turns out the
episode 1 gets replayed multiple times
because you find out what really happened.
But it's always the same like scene with Fry in the cryo chamber, and something happens in the background and you're like, oh, that's what that was.
Yep.
And then like they replay it later again and they'll be like, oh, I didn't notice that's what that was either. And I think they've done that like 3 or 4 times. Like one of the ones I just watched the other day was basically that same scenario where like Fry it was something about that's right. He discovers something about his future, and then after he discovers that, he's like, oh shit, now this has to happen. And now that he realized that that's what has to happen, he purposely like shoves himself into the cryogenic chamber to force himself to wake up in that time period again.
And there's so many different times where like all this time travel. I mean there's a lot of time travel, I mean there's a lot of time travel that all plays into what's already happened, including, fun fact, there's a Emmy-winning episode of Futurama. I think it's the only Emmy-winning episode of Futurama called Roswell That Ends Well.
Yeah.
Where essentially the Planet Express ship travels back to Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 and essentially becomes the crashed alien spaceship that drove up all this drama about Area 51. They were the aliens.
Yes.
Zoidberg in particular was the alien they captured.
Fucking so good.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a really quick break here, and we got an ad for you. So, please don't skip it. It's good for you. I promise.
Yeah, it really is.
It's good. But yeah, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us.
What's up, gamers? Birds and Swords here. I'm Micah.
And I'm Alyssa. As part of the Barn Media Group, we bring you anything and everything from the world of video games.
Are we experts?
No.
But do we play a lot of video games?
Hell yeah, we do.
So come check out our gaming podcast, Birds and Swords, for insight, opinions, top lists, and all the fun that comes with talking about games.
Come laugh with us. Or at us.
So bring your bird and your sword.
Because it's Birds and Swords.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you could talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
Alrighty, guys. You know what? We need to talk about the creator. Matthew Abram Groening, born February 15th, 1954, in Portland, Oregon, is an American cartoonist, writer, producer, and animator. He is the creator of the comic strip Life in Hell that ran from 1977 to 2012, and the television series The Simpsons, starting in 1989 to present, Futurama from 1999 to 2003, 2008 to 2013, and now 2023 to present. Which, if you guys did not know this, and we didn't talk about it earlier, Futurama's coming back, baby!
If by the time you're listening to this, it's actually already back.
Yeah, we're filming this on the 23rd, and the new episode, I believe, starts on the 25th, so...
In the future!
In the future!
But in our...
But your past, but our
past.
future. Yes, so if you are just watching this now and have never watched Futurama, we really do recommend starting from the beginning. But if you're a fan of Futurama and you're just listening to this because you just want to hear more about Futurama, check out that new series. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Do it, you scrub.
I'm sure it's good. It could not... If it's not good, I will cry.
They did bring back all the original cast.
Yep.
Originally, though, the voice of Bender was not going to come back because apparently they were not offering him enough money to... He said it wasn't about money, but let's be real here. If you're not taking it a job, you know, I imagine it's because it's not enough money.
Yeah.
So he did eventually get what he wanted, and he did end up announcing his return to the series.
Awesome.
So we do have all the original cast.
That's wonderful.
Yep. And then the show Disenchantment, from 2018 to present. This show is in this almost same art style as Futurama, but it's back in the old days and with a couple like demons and monsters. A lot of the same voice actors. Not a fan of Disenchanted.
Nope.
Not a fan of it.
I tried it. It's not
that good.
It doesn't capture, I don't know. It's just, there's, like, by all means, I want to like it. Because it's the same
creator
of humor, it's the same creator, it's the same animation, but there's just something about the character dynamics that the jokes just don't land, and you don't connect with any of them on any level, and it just I don't know, it's weird.
I have
Didn't
tried.
care for it.
I have watched it. I have tried to get into it, and it is not, unfortunately, just one of those things that did not work with me. But anyway, The Simpsons is the longest running U.S. primetime television series in history and the longest running U.S. animated series and sitcom we talked about earlier. So can't wait for the day that they decide to cancel it or just end it, and people are going to lose.
People will riot.
Some people will riot. I feel like some people will be like, "The Simpsons are still on."
A small percentage will riot. One person.
Groening attended Lincoln High School, where he began drawing his own comic strips for the school newspaper. After graduation, he enrolled at the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington, where he studied philosophy and became heavily involved in the local counterculture scene.
Which I feel like it's that philosophy area that is how we get so much of this, oh, he predicted the future sort of thing. Because he doesn't just look at what's funny now, he looks at what is funny now, but then decides, well, based on how shitty humanity is, this is more than likely what's going to happen because of that. And I feel like this outrageous thing will ultimately happen as a result of that, but then tries to animate that prediction. But it's just scary how accurate he is.
Right.
But I feel like it's that philosophy that is the reason why he's able to come up with these things. But
like, even though he can come up with like the ideas of stuff, the imagery that they've always used in Simpsons is just spot on.
Right.
They actually animated a scene where Trump was going down an escalator, and there was this guy in the background holding a sign.
And the sign dropped.
That actually happened.
It was that exact scene.
Years later.
Exact scene.
That just, you gotta think something's up.
Right.
You gotta think something. That's just impossible. The odds of that happening are so abysmal. Look up Simpsons predictions and you'll be astounded.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In 1977, at the age of 23, Groening moved to Los Angeles to become a writer. He went through what he described as a series of lousy jobs, including being an extra in the television movie When Every Day Was the 4th of July, bussing tables, washing dishes at a nursing home, clerking at the Hollywood Licorice Pizza record store, landscaping in a sewage treatment plant, and chauffeuring and ghostwriting for a retired Western director. So a lot of really shitty jobs, pretty much.
Right, and it's some of these jobs that I feel like are they're the reasons why he has such a cynical look on how shitty life really is for the average everyday Joe, like a delivery guy or Homer Simpson at a nuclear
power plant.
Like, he has some of this experience in these areas, and he just knows how to joke about it, and he's right. He knows. Groening described life in Los Angeles to his friends in the form of the self-published comic book Life in Hell, which was loosely inspired by the chapter How to Go to Hell in Walter Kaufman's book Critique of Religion and Philosophy. Groening distributed the comic book in the corner of Licorice Pizza, which was a record store in which he worked. He made his first professional cartoon sale to the avant-garde Wet magazine in 1978. The strip titled Forbidden Words appeared in the September-October issue of that year, and at its peak, the cartoon was carried in 250 different weekly newspapers. Now, what's great about this comic strip, though, is that the character model already heavily resembles what would turn into artwork for, like, the Simpsons and Futurama, where it's the exact same face shape. So his art style never really changed. He discovered it way long ago. Now, there is another series that he created that was called Life in Hell.
Yep. And
it's with Life in Hell that is how he runs into James L. Brooks. Life in Hell there's some great, like, short panel series, typically just like one or two characters talking back and forth. There's an amazing 4-panel one that has these two guys wearing like little bucket hats, the fucking like the Shriners caps.
Yep.
The first panel is just these two guys looking at each other and almost kind of like Cyanide and Happiness style.
Oh yeah.
Where the first guy just says, "Matt is so gay," and the other guy says, "That's offensive. I take umbrage." And then he goes, "No, I meant gay, as in exquisite, enlightened,
droll, sublime, and potent.
Not gay like you."
You know, back in the day, gay was thrown around like an insult.
Right.
We're allies over here.
You couldn't say that shit. Hell no. So it was in 1985 when he was approached by James L. Brooks, who at the time was a renowned Hollywood producer who admired Life in Hell. Brooks wanted Groening to create a series of animated shorts for The Tracy Ullman Show, which the Tracy Ullman Show was an American television sketch comedy variety show starring Tracy Ullman that debuted on Fox on April 5th, 1987.
Dang.
And ran until May 26th, 1990. The show was a blend of sketch comedy with musical numbers and dance routines choreographed by Paula Abdul.
Oh.
Yikes, that hasn't aged well.
Nope.
Along with animated shorts, and that's where Groening saw the opportunity to bring his unique style and humor to a larger audience. The Simpsons were created at that time.
Dang.
And it's weird how like this show almost seemed like it wanted to compete with Saturday Night Live. Is really what it feels
yeah, that
like.
sounds right.
Or,
that sounds like it.
Do you remember the 90s show All That?
Yeah, All That. That was the kids' version of Saturday Night Live.
Right? I loved that so much.
All That.
With fucking Keenan and Kel.
Yep, Keenan and Kel. They had their own show, but they got their start on that show, I believe.
A lot of people did. Amanda Bynes.
Did you know Gabriel Iglesias also got his start?
No
All
shit.
That. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Huh. That kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Right?
That's so weird. The Simpsons, which later then debuted in 1989, is a full-fledged half-hour animated sitcom on the Fox network. The show's satirical take on American family life, biting humor, and relatable characters made it an instant hit. Groening's creation quickly became a global phenomenon, with The Simpsons receiving critical acclaim and numerous accolades, including multiple Emmy Awards. Now, I know you said Futurama had like one. The Simpsons has many.
I call rigged.
It's a rigged election. Groening's legacy continues with Futurama, of course, the reason for the season. Despite its immense success of The Simpsons, Groening's creative journey was far from over, for in 1999 he brought another animated series to life, Futurama, combining science fiction, social commentary, and Groening's trademark wit. Futurama attracted a dedicated fan base and received critical acclaim during its original run, even though it was unfortunately canceled in 2003, like we said later. But luckily, thanks to all of its fans, we have that show back yet again from the grave coming up. I'm so excited to see that first episode. I hope it's good, because this time it was bought by Hulu, right?
Yep, Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu was the savior, which does that technically mean Disney? Because doesn't Disney own Hulu?
Oh my god. Does that mean that
Is Leela a Disney princess?
Yes.
What about Amy?
Oh my god. Is Fry a Disney princess? No. Is Zoidberg a Disney princess?
I'm not Zoidberg. Yeah, you can be anything you want, man. Is he going to give us a wonderful musical number, like Under the Sea?
God, I hope not. I hope they do that, and then Zoidberg comes in and eats the fish. Man, did you know that the show, one of the best parts of the show, is the foreshadowing? That they leave little sprinkles of foreshadowing in all their episodes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes days, months, or even years for it to come to fruition. Like you talked about the first episode scene. The scene where Fry accidentally topples over and sends himself into the cryogenic chamber. There's a brief moment where a shadow flashed across the screen with no explanation, only to be explained years later. You know, it's one of those that there's so many little things that they'll like throw out and then just pick up later on. And it's so cool.
How much of this is something that like they just did, not really thinking about it, and then later they were like, ooh, now what could that be? Like they just pick it apart and they're like, oh, we could change anything we want about this. It could be anything we want. And then they make their own conspiracies, maybe not even necessarily planned, but they turn it into something as though it were planned.
You know, like one of the big plots for later in the series with the brains, the floating brains that travel throughout the world, and that there was only one person able to save humanity, and it was Fry, all because of what he did back in the past in the Roswell's That Ends Well episode. And it's a big picture. All these little things connect to form this bigger picture in the show, and I absolutely love it. The show is just it's an absolute gem.
Do you remember the Willy Wonka themed episode with the slurm?
Oh my god, Slurms McKenzie, the original party worm.
The party worm. Or like things that the show is responsible for, like Hypnotoad.
You know?
It's like a 24-hour channel pretty much of just a toad on a screen that imbues like psychedelic imagery that hypnotizes you and puts you in like a state of like zombie-like paralysis where you just like can't look away from Hypnotoad.
Or we have Santa,
Oh yeah.
A robot accidentally, a robot that's its programming got confused, so now thinks everyone is naughty and goes on a killing spree every year.
That's why, like, in the future, they're like, oh no, it's Christmas, and everyone like goes.
Oh no,
inside.
it's Xmas. Remember?
Oh yeah, it's Xmas. Yeah.
They don't know what Christmas is. They only know the holiday is Xmas, and apparently the palm tree is the new Xmas tree because the pine tree went extinct. Let's see. There's also the episode where they for Fry and Bender were stupid enough to sign up for the army to get free gum, and then they got drafted. They got the war started right after they signed up.
Oh my god!
Where they went to an alien planet to fight a bunch of bouncing balls.
Yes,
it was like literally looked like testicles.
Yep,
it was great. It was an episode that was heavily inspired by Super Troopers. Not Super Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. That's a whole other show. Super Troopers is a whole other movie.
It's a whole other thing.
Starship Troopers was the inspiration for that. The series creator, Matt Groening, reportedly hid his initials in many episodes. In many episodes as Easter eggs for his fans to find. These hidden initials can be seen in backgrounds, signs, and even the design of spaceships.
Oh, the character Bender was he was supposed to have a British accent, but after hearing John DiMaggio's voice audition, the creators decided to give Bender a more unique voice and personality. Could you imagine Bender sounding British?
Oh man, no, that wouldn't sound right. Bender, his voice is part of his is such a memorable part of his character.
Yeah,
where he has imagine his catchphrase in a British accent.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah, that's if you hear that in the real world, you immediately know that came from Bender.
Bite my shiny golden ass.
Bite my glorious golden ass.
It was glorious golden ass.
Oh my god! That's one of my favorite episodes where they go into a parallel universe where everything is changed based off coin flips.
Dude, I fucking forget about so many of these old episodes.
They're great.
So good. So fucking good. The theme song for Futurama was originally by Christopher. I don't know if it's Ting. Was an homage to the soundtrack for the original Star Trek series, which the opening notes of both themes are nearly identical. So that was a really big connection for like sci-fi fans. In which, speaking of sci-fi, Zap Brannigan was inspired by William Shatner's portrayal of Captain Kirk in Star Trek, which he exaggerated. It had just this bravado for womanizing, and it's beautiful. It's so fucking funny. I thought it was hysterical. I love fucking Zap Brannigan.
He is just everything wrong with being a guy.
he's an idiot, first of all. He doesn't know, he does not understand social cues from women at all.
I love how in the episode that we talked about with the balls, he talks about, he's the leader of the army at that point, and he's like, we're heading down to this planet such and such. It's a barren wasteland with absolutely no resources or anything worth value whatsoever. And then some guy's like, why? He had a question. He's like, yes, you with the stupid face. Question. Why is this godforsaken planet worth dying for? And his response was, don't look at me. You're the one who's going to be dying.
Yeah. Did you know that there are several cameo appearances by many other well-known, famous scientists, like Stephen Hawking, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Now, did you know that Futurama, in almost every episode, the very beginning of the it'll show the logo of the show, and then it'll have a little tagline of something funny.
Yes.
There's at least 133 different versions of these.
Yep.
Including some that are just straight up, there's handcrafted ones. There's one that says Simpsorama.
Yep.
A show out of ideas teams up with a show out of episodes.
I fucking love it. But yeah, that was his little his thing. The beginning of every Simpsons episode had something different. Futurama had that little tagline that I loved, looking forward to. That was super fun. There was a fictional language called Alienese, which is seen in the show, and it was created as a secret code for fans to decipher. It is a simple substitution cipher where each Alienese symbol represents a corresponding letter of the English alphabet. I didn't find what these translations turned into. I would have loved to find that.
There's a little funny Easter eggs or funny little jabs at certain people. Leela's apartment number is 1I.
Ha.
She's only got one eye.
Zing.
Get it?
Damn.
Al Gore has voiced himself on the show multiple times, and his daughter has also written several episodes.
Yeah, how could we forget about that? He's just a floating head.
Yeah,
in a
Al
tank.
Gore's in it. Like, they bring back a lot of famous people being like just like living heads in jars.
Mm-hmm.
We have like the Star Trek cast. You have Richard Nixon.
Yes, there was an episode of the Star Trek cast where they all get like stranded on an alien planet.
What happened was Star Trek got so big that it actually was banned. It became its own religion, and so they were fearful of it. So they essentially they threw all the fans in a volcano, and then they sent all the VHS tapes of Star Trek into space, and they crash landed on a ship with some alien made of pure energy. Found them.
Yeah.
And he started watching all of them and became a huge super fan.
Mm-hmm.
So then the floating heads of the actors of Star Trek left planet Earth because they were like, well, we can't be here because everyone hates us. Everyone left except Leonard Nimoy.
Yep.
And who's also voiced himself doing the show, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And rest in peace, my guy. There's this big episode where like the Planet Express crew fights the actors of Star Trek. And it was, so good. Fun fact, the show has a rating of 4.9 out of 5.
Damn.
And that is with 499 ratings. We must add the 500th one is our time, Brent.
Do it.
With a 5-star review by Pat Cahill, sent about a year ago. Why it rocks. Great mix of 2D animation and CGI. There are tons of unforgettable, hilarious, and emotional, enjoyable episodes. Likeable characters such as Fry, Leela, Bender, Amy, Professor, and of course Zoidberg. Clever humor based on science fiction parodies and references. This ranges from subtle ones like using the same sound effects of the doors from Star Trek to Captain Zap Brannigan, who's a full-on parody of Captain James T. Kirk from Star Trek. And he went on a lot, but this is a really funny one. A 1-star review by Robert Worrell 3 years ago. I used to be a fan. However, they just aired an episode of Nixon coming back as a cyborg. You would have to be an idiot not to notice the political innuendos in this one. Impeach this. This is obviously a homage to what is going on with today's political climate. It was an obvious anti-Trump episode. I'm over it. He is my president. I had to put up with 8 years of Obama. I didn't cry about it. I finally have a president I'm proud of, and the other side has tried everything in their power to undermine him. Grow the hell up. We are better as a country economically than we have since the 80s. I stand by him and always will. All we're doing is bringing the Conservative Party closer together. You will suffer in the next election.
Oh my God.
I'm going to label that as unhelpful. This is a review about a TV show. How about you grow the fuck up and talk about the show instead of bringing your politics into this?
Right. What the fuck, man?
That's really funny. Hey, actually, there's a couple new reviews already popping up for the next episode.
I was doing number 500 right now.
No. I'm saying go. I'm talking about like within the last day or within the last couple hours, people are already posting about the first episode.
Episodes.
Yeah.
Okay,
keep going.
I'm still on.
Yeah, keep doing that. You keep doing your thing, dude.
We are the 500th review. Damn it.
Yes. Let's see. TV review of Futurama. Futurama returns with poignant and hilarious satire. Hulu's new revival is pure comfort TV. Futurama's reboot is brilliant, with new inside jokes. Let's see. The sci-fi comedy is back like it never left. Like, that's what I love to hear and I love to read. The show is back, baby.
Right. Fucking good. Hell yeah.
All right. Can you read us the official 500th review of Futurama?
Our newest review is a 5-star review, and it goes a little something like, Robert is dumb and dislikes this show for a dumb reason. Trump is my president! Psh, what an idiot. Only dumb people choose to dislike great shows like this one due to bad political views. Don't be dumb like Robert. Be cool instead. It's a great series and maybe the greatest ever. You can find more reviews and discussions that are better than Robert's by visiting https://www.youtube.com/@thebarnmediagroup and listening to the Men of Zen exclusively on The Barn.
That's a wonderful review.
Don't be dumb like Robert. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. I can't thank everyone enough. I want to thank Schminkadelic for the use of our intro and outro, and you can find more of his dick-slapping good tunes on Apple Music and Spotify. Schminkadelic is the word you want to use to check that out. I want to thank the Barn Media Group for having us on their wonderful program with all these other shows like the Tippy Joe Show, Vulgar Display of Podcast,
Birds and Swords,
our
homies.
Vulgar Display just interviewed some of the guys from Guar.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
Fucking cool. They do a lot of sports coverage. Also, I think it was Knuckleball Primetime. Just so many great shows on the Barn. It's wonderful. And I also want to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp. You can go to betterhelp.com/the barn to get 10% off your first month of that so good, just yummy therapy.
That therapy that is good.
Therapy. Yum. Eat 'em up good. Hey, thanks everybody for listening. Once again, my name is Brent.
My name is Philip J. Fry.
No, it's not. Liar.
Well, you know what? I'm 2/3 of that.
What is your legal Christian name?
Bold of you to assume that I'm a Christian, sir.
Oh my God. Thanks everybody for listening. Stay safe.
For more media entertainment podcasts like the one you just heard, check out The Barn. Anime, music, sports, and video games, The Barn has everything that you need.